Admiral Voss of the Galactic Confederation folded his forearms across his chest and stared at the holographic display. The human delegate, Tom Reed, stood before the council, his single pair of arms hanging awkwardly at his sides. The other, 19 species representatives watched with various expressions of curiosity, disgust, or fascination. "So, Delegate Reed," Voss began, his voice amplified throughout the chamber, "your species wishes to join our confederation despite your biological limitations." Tom shifted uncomfortably under the scrutiny of 47 alien eyes. "With respect, Admiral, I'm not sure what limitations you're referring to." A ripple of something like laughter passed through the assembly. The Drellin representative, a crystalline being named Kix, chimed in with a bell-like voice. "Human, your species is famously fragile. Your biology is inefficient at best, catastrophic at worst." Tom blinked in confusion. "I don't understand. Humans have colonized 12 systems. We've adapted to environments from desert to tundra. We're quite resilient." The morgue representative, a corpulent creature named Bulk, gurgled through his breathing. "Apparatus, you humans break constantly. Your spines are disasters waiting to happen. Your knees fail after mere decades. Your teeth by the void. Your teeth simply rot in your heads." "Well, yes, but," Tom began. "Your reproductive cycle is barbaric," interrupted Nala, the feline ambassador from Felis Prime. "Your females bleed cyclically, whether reproduction occurs or not. The birthing process is dangerous to both parent and offspring. Frankly, it's primitive." Tom felt his face flush. This was not how he'd expected his first diplomatic mission to proceed. "And your sleep requirements," bellowed Zet, a nocturnal species ambassador. 8 hours of unconsciousness daily, a third of your life spent vulnerable and unproductive, utterly wasteful. "Your digestive system is perhaps worst of all," added Dr. Ulan, the Confederation's chief xenobiologist. His tentacles waved dismissively as he spoke. "You have a tube that shares functions with your breathing apparatus. You regularly choke on sustenance. Your waste elimination is inefficient, and your gut flora is a chaotic ecosystem that constantly threatens your existence." The council chamber filled with murmurs of agreement. Tom looked around desperately for an ally and found none. Admiral Voss raised a hand for silence. "Even your mental processes are flawed. Your memory storage is unreliable. Your decision-making is compromised by emotions. Your young require decades of development before achieving minimal competence." "But that's just how humans are," Tom protested. "We've survived and thrived despite, or perhaps because of, our peculiarities." Dr. Ulan floated closer, peering at Tom through compound eyes. "That's precisely what perplexes us, human. Your species shouldn't have survived long enough to develop space travel, let alone apply for Confederation membership. Yet here you stand." Kix's crystalline form shimmered thoughtfully. "Perhaps that's the true question before this council. Not whether humans should join us, but how such a broken species managed to reach the stars at all." Tom straightened his posture, suddenly understanding the true nature of this hearing. This wasn't a membership review. It was an interrogation about humanity's unexpected success. "Admiral," he said carefully, "perhaps our biology appears flawed, from your perspective, but I suggest there's another way to look at it." "And what might that be?" Voss asked, leaning forward slightly. "Maybe you should be asking, how did human biology get so broken, and yet produce a species capable of standing before this council as equals?" A profound silence fell over the chamber. Tom Reed had just changed the nature of the debate. "An interesting perspective," Admiral Voss finally responded. "Please elaborate, Delegate Reed." Tom moved to the center of the chamber, activating his own holographic display. Images of human history flashed before the council. Cave paintings, pyramids, sailing ships, skyscrapers, spacecraft. "Our broken biology, as you call it, shaped our development in ways that might surprise you," Tom began. "Take our sleep requirements. While other species evolved continuous consciousness, humans developed dreams, a state where our minds process information, solve problems, and create in ways our waking minds cannot." He displayed brain scans showing dream states. Several council Members leaned forward with newfound interest. Our physical fragility drove innovation, Tom continued. We couldn't outrun predators, so we created weapons. We couldn't survive harsh environments, so we built shelters. Each limitation became a catalyst for technological advancement, Dr. Ulan interrupted, tentacles twitching skeptically. Yet many species develop technology without such glaring biological deficiencies. True, Tom acknowledged. But consider. Our spines, yes, they're poorly designed for upright walking, but that awkward transition from quadruped to biped freed our hands, allowing tool use that transformed our species. He displayed images of human hands crafting increasingly complex tools through the ages. As for our digestive system, its inefficiency taught us cooking, which released more nutrients, fueling brain development. Our dental problems led to oral hygiene, the beginning of preventative medicine, Kix chimed thoughtfully. You're suggesting that overcoming biological challenges drove human innovation? Precisely, Tom replied. Our reproductive difficulties created communities. Human infants require extensive care, forcing cooperation. Our females, incapacitated during late pregnancy and early child-rearing, needed social support structures. These communities became the foundation of civilization. Images of human settlements throughout history filled the chamber. Nala, the feline ambassador, flicked her tail contemplatively. This contradicts conventional evolutionary theory. Species typically evolve toward efficiency. Humans took a different path, Tom explained. We externalized our evolution. Instead of waiting millennia for biological adaptations, we created external solutions, clothing for temperature regulation, glasses for vision correction, medication for disease resistance. Bulk gurgled skeptically. Yet this doesn't explain your greatest weakness, your emotional irrationality. Tom smiled slightly. What you call weakness, we consider our greatest strength. Our emotions, love, curiosity, ambition, drove us to explore beyond survival needs. Our arts, sciences, and philosophies emerged from emotional drives that purely rational beings might never develop. He displayed images of human art, music, and scientific discoveries. Our imperfect memories meant we needed to develop writing, leading to accumulated knowledge across generations. Our decision-making flaws taught us to create checks and balances, distributed leadership, and collaborative problem-solving. Admiral Voss studied the human with newfound respect. You're suggesting that human advancement occurred not despite these limitations but because of them? Yes, Tom said simply. Each broken system forced adaptation, creativity, and cooperation. Our biology isn't broken, Admiral. It's specialized for innovation rather than stability. The chamber fell silent as the implications settled over the council. Tom knew he had their attention now, but convincing them would require more than philosophical arguments. He needed to demonstrate humanity's unique value to the Confederation. Admiral, Tom said, with your permission, I'd like to show the council something that might help explain why humans belong among the stars, despite our apparent limitations. Admiral Voss gestured permission, and Tom activated a new holographic sequence. The chamber darkened as images of human disasters appeared. Plagues, wars, environmental catastrophes. Humans don't just adapt to problems, we survive catastrophic failures, Tom explained. Our biology contains remarkable redundancies and repair mechanisms that appear inefficient until they become essential. The display showed medical footage of a human recovering from severe injuries. We can lose significant blood volume and survive. Our livers regenerate. Our brains rewire after damage. Even our inefficient reproduction has an advantage: extreme genetic diversity. When diseases devastate our populations, enough genetic outliers survive to rebuild. Dr. Ulan floated closer, professionally intrigued. Many species have healing capabilities. Yes, but humans evolved specifically to withstand repeated trauma, Tom countered. Consider our stress response. Initially designed for immediate danger, it adapted to manage chronic stressors over lifetimes. We call it resilience. The hologram shifted to show a human settlement destroyed by natural disaster, then the same location years later, rebuilt and thriving. This pattern extends beyond individual biology to our societies, Tom continued. We've faced extinction-level events multiple times and rebuilt. Species-wide trauma is woven into our history. Kix's crystalline form dimmed thoughtfully. You speak of biological and social resilience, but what relevance does this have to the Confederation? Tom nodded, reaching the critical point of his argument. The universe is inherently hostile to life. The Confederation's 3,000-year peace is remarkable but ultimately temporary. Extinction-level threats are inevitable. Supernovae, gamma-ray bursts, pandemics, resource depletion. He paused, letting the sobering reality settle. Most Confederation species evolved in stable environments, optimizing for efficiency within narrow parameters. Humans evolved in wildly fluctuating conditions on a tectonically active planet with dramatic climate shifts. We're specialists in surviving catastrophic change. The display showed Earth's variable climate history compared to the relatively stable homeworlds of other Council species. Bulk gurgled dismissively. Are you suggesting the Confederation needs humans as disaster specialists? Precisely, Tom replied without hesitation. Your civilizations are marvels of efficiency and harmony. But efficiency creates vulnerability when conditions change drastically. Humans are inefficient precisely because we maintain systems for scenarios that rarely occur. Admiral Voss leaned forward. Examples, please. Our seemingly wasteful immune system maintains defenses against pathogens we may never encounter. Our social structures preserve knowledge that's rarely needed. Our creativity imagines disasters before they occur, allowing preparation for theoretical threats. Tom displayed humanity's vast disaster preparation protocols, emergency response systems, and speculative science addressing cosmic threats. Humans are biological pessimists, Tom explained. We anticipate failure and build redundancies. We create worst-case scenarios and solve them hypothetically. We maintain capabilities far beyond daily requirements. Nala's whiskers twitched with interest. You're positioning humanity's biological inefficiency as specialized disaster adaptation? Yes. In stable times, our biology appears broken, redundant, energy-intensive, prone to malfunction. But when stability fails, these same traits become survival advantages. We're biologically designed to endure apocalypse. The chamber remained silent as the council processed this perspective. Tom knew he was making headway but hadn't yet convinced them. There's something else you should know about human biology, Tom added quietly. Something that explains our peculiar development path. Continue, Admiral Voss instructed, now genuinely curious. Tom took a deep breath. The next revelation would either secure humanity's place in the Confederation or confirm their worst suspicions about his species. Human DNA contains unexplained anomalies, Tom began, displaying a complex genetic map. Our evolution shows unusual acceleration approximately 300,000 years ago. Our genome contains sequences that don't match terrestrial evolutionary patterns. Dr. Ulan's tentacles writhed with excitement. You're suggesting artificial intervention, genetic engineering? We don't know, Tom admitted. But Earth bears evidence of multiple extinction events that reset evolution. After each reset, more complex organisms emerged, culminating in humans, a species bizarrely maladapted to its environment yet uniquely capable of reshaping that environment. The display showed Earth's extinction timeline alongside humanity's rapid technological development. Our broken biology may be the result of interference, or perhaps adaptive pressure so extreme it forced revolutionary, rather than evolutionary changes. Admiral Voss frowned. This borders on creation mythology, Delegate Reed. Perhaps, Tom acknowledged. But consider this. Humans weren't the first intelligent species on Earth. The hologram shifted to show fossil evidence of previous advanced civilizations that had risen and fallen across Earth's history. We've found anomalous artifacts predating humanity by millions of years, evidence of industrial-level civilizations among dinosaurs, mammals, and even arthropods. Each rose, peaked, then vanished, some gradually, others catastrophically. The council members exchanged glances, their skepticism evident. If verified, this would violate fundamental evolutionary principles, Dr. Ulan objected. Only if you assume linear progression, Tom countered. Earth appears to function as an evolutionary laboratory, repeatedly generating intelligence, allowing it to develop, then wiping the slate nearly clean through extinction events. Kix chimed with alarm. You're describing a controlled experiment, spanning billions of years. Yes, Tom said simply. And humans appear to be the first species to break the cycle, to develop technology capable of preventing extinction events rather than succumbing to them. The chamber erupted in murmurs and exclamations. Admiral Voss raised his hands for silence. This is a remarkable claim requiring extraordinary evidence, Delegate Reed. The evidence exists, Tom assured him. But more compelling is what we discovered when we began interstellar exploration. He displayed star maps highlighting habitable worlds throughout the galaxy. Every seemingly habitable world we found bears the same pattern. Evidence of multiple risen and fallen civilizations, none surviving long enough to develop interstellar travel. Earth isn't unique, it's a template repeated across our galactic neighborhood. The Council fell silent, absorbing the implications. Except for worlds inhabited by Confederation members, Tom continued. Your homeworlds show continuous evolutionary progression without catastrophic resets. Your biology's developed efficiently within stable parameters. Nala growled softly. What are you suggesting, human? The galaxy appears divided into two domains: stable worlds that produce the Confederation species, and experimental worlds subjected to evolutionary pressure through induced catastrophes. Earth is among the latter. Tom paused, allowing the Council to process this paradigm-shifting perspective. Our broken biology isn't a flaw. It's the result of evolutionary crucibles designed to produce specific adaptations. Humans emerged from Earth's laboratory specialized for one capability: surviving apocalypse. Admiral Voss's expression had grown grave. If true, this raises disturbing questions about intelligence behind these patterns. Precisely why humanity seeks Confederation membership, Tom replied. We believe our specialized evolutionary path complements your stable development. Together, we might decipher the purpose behind galactic evolutionary engineering, and perhaps face whatever designed these experiments. The Admiral studied Tom for several moments before speaking. We will require verification of these claims. Of course, Tom agreed. But whether you accept our evolutionary history or not, the fact remains that humanity offers the Confederation unique catastrophe adaptation capabilities. Our broken biology created a species specialized for surviving what stable species cannot. A thoughtful silence filled the chamber as the implications settled over the Council members. The verification process took months. Confederation scientists pored over Earth's geological and biological records, comparing them with data from other worlds. Tom waited patiently as the evidence mounted, confirming humanity's unusual evolutionary narrative. Now, standing again before the Council, Tom watched Admiral Voss review the final reports. The verification team has confirmed your assertions, Delegate Reed, the Admiral announced. Earth does indeed show patterns consistent with directed evolutionary pressure through managed extinction events. Similar patterns appear on 17 other worlds in neighboring sectors. Tom nodded. And the comparative analysis with Confederation homeworlds? Dr. Ulan activated a new holographic display showing two distinct evolutionary trajectories across different star systems. The difference is unmistakable, the xenobiologist admitted. Confederation homeworlds show gradual continuous development. These other worlds, including Earth, show punctuated equilibrium with accelerated advancement following extinction events. Kix chimed thoughtfully. The implications are profound. Some intelligence has been conducting evolutionary experiments across at least this portion of the galaxy. The question becomes, why? Nala added, her tail lashing anxiously. And more importantly, who? Admiral Voss turned to Tom. This discovery changes the nature of your application, Delegate Reed. Humanity may indeed possess adaptations valuable to the Confederation, particularly as we confront the possibility of an unknown intelligence engineering evolutionary pathways. There's more, Tom said quietly. During your verification, we discovered something we believe explains the purpose behind our broken biology. He activated his own holographic display, showing a mysterious signal pattern. This recurs throughout human DNA, a mathematical sequence embedded in what we thought was junk genetic material. Dr. Ulan leaned forward, tentacles quivering with excitement. A message within your genome? We believe so, Tom confirmed, and not just in humans. We've found variations of this sequence in every terrestrial species, becoming increasingly complex in more advanced organisms. The display expanded to show similar patterns from various Earth creatures, insects, reptiles, mammals, each with the same mathematical foundation but different complexities. It appears to be a progressive encoding system, Tom explained. Each evolutionary stage on Earth carries part of a larger message, with humans containing the most complex segment. The council chamber fell completely silent. "Have you decoded it?" Admiral Voss finally asked. "Partially," Tom replied. "It contains astronomical coordinates, temporal references, and what appears to be a warning." A warning. Bulk's massive form shifted uneasily. "About what?" "That's where translation becomes difficult," Tom admitted. "But we believe it concerns an imminent galactic threat, one that recurs cyclically." He displayed a galactic timescale. "According to the embedded message, this threat has reset advanced life across the galaxy approximately every 50,000 years, with the next occurrence due." "When?" Admiral Voss demanded. "Within the next century," Tom said grimly. "Whatever engineered Earth's evolutionary experiments wasn't conducting them arbitrarily. It was attempting to create species capable of surviving this cyclical extinction event." Nala's ears flattened against her head. "And you believe humans, with your broken biology, were designed specifically to face this threat?" "Yes," Tom said simply. "Our redundant systems, our adaptability to trauma, our seemingly inefficient biology, all specialized adaptations for catastrophic conditions. We're survival specialists, designed to endure whatever periodically cleanses the galaxy of advanced life." The council members exchanged troubled glances. "If verified," Admiral Voss said carefully, "this would indeed make humanity a valuable addition to the Confederation." "There's one more thing you should know," Tom added. "The message in our DNA contains fragments suggesting that previous human-equivalent species have emerged on Earth before, possibly multiple times over millions of years." "What happened to them?" Kix asked. "Unknown," Tom replied honestly. "But none achieved sufficient technological advancement to prevent extinction. We appear to be the first iteration to develop space travel capabilities before the cycle completes." The implications hung heavily in the chamber. "So humanity's application to join the Confederation," Admiral Voss began, "is also a warning," Tom finished, "and an offer of alliance against whatever approaches." 3 years later, the joint Human Confederation research facility on Jupiter's moon Europa had become the center of the galaxy's most ambitious scientific undertaking. Tom, now serving as Earth's permanent ambassador, stood beside Admiral Voss as they observed the massive installation through the viewport of the Confederation flagship. "Impressive progress," Voss remarked. "Your species works with remarkable urgency." "We've had plenty of practice rushing against extinction," Tom replied with a wry smile. "Urgency is practically written into our DNA." The Admiral nodded thoughtfully. "Speaking of DNA, Dr. Ulan's team has made a breakthrough in decoding the remaining sections of the embedded message." "I heard. They're briefing the Joint Council this afternoon." As they made their way to the council chamber, Tom reflected on how quickly humans had integrated into Confederation society. What had begun as skepticism about humanity's broken biology had transformed into fascination and respect. Human specialists now served throughout Confederation structures, bringing their unique perspective on disaster preparedness and crisis management. The council chamber was already filled when they arrived. Dr. Ulan floated at the center, his tentacles manipulating a complex holographic display of intertwined DNA structures. "We have successfully decoded 87% of the embedded message," the xenobiologist announced without preamble. "And we now understand its origin and purpose." The chamber fell silent as the hologram expanded to show a galactic map with numerous highlighted worlds. "The message wasn't embedded by some external intelligence," Dr. Ulan continued. "It was embedded by previous victims of the cyclical extinction events, advanced civilizations that realized they couldn't survive but hoped to warn future evolution." Murmurs rippled through the assembly as the implications sank in. These civilizations couldn't preserve their technology or their knowledge conventionally, Dr. Ulan explained. So they encoded warnings into the most durable information storage medium available, the DNA of simple organisms likely to survive the catastrophe and eventually evolve into new intelligent species. A message in a bottle cast into the evolutionary Future, Tom mused. Precisely, Dr. Ulan agreed. And not just on Earth. We've now identified similar encoded patterns in the genomes of 27 species across 14 worlds, all products of the experimental evolutionary pathway. Admiral Voss leaned forward. And the nature of the cyclical threat? The hologram shifted to show a massive mechanical organic entity unlike anything in Confederation records. The previous civilizations called them harvesters, Dr. Ulan explained. Massive synthetic organic constructs that emerge from dark space approximately every 50,000 years to harvest advanced organic civilizations. Harvest how? Kix asked, her crystalline form dimming with concern. They convert organic material, specifically advanced sentient species, into new harvesters, Dr. Ulan replied grimly. They systematically process entire populations, preserving their genetic material and neural patterns while destroying their civilizations. The process appears to be their means of reproduction. Horror rippled through the chamber. The encoded message includes technical specifications of harvester capabilities, Dr. Ulan continued. They possess technology far beyond current Confederation standards, including the ability to disable advanced electronics, render conventional weapons inoperable, and induce mass psychological control, which explains why conventional evolution failed to produce species capable of resistance, Tom interjected. The traits needed aren't those that provide evolutionary advantages under normal conditions. Correct, Dr. Ulan confirmed. The message suggests that after repeated failures, some previous civilizations began actively engineering their own successors through directed evolution. They couldn't survive themselves, but they could influence what came after. And they engineered humans? Admiral Voss asked. Not directly, Dr. Ulan clarified. They established evolutionary pressures and triggers on Earth and similar worlds, creating conditions that would eventually produce species with specific traits. Redundant biological systems, psychological resilience, adaptability to trauma, and creative problem-solving. Our broken biology, Tom said quietly, designed specifically to counter harvester capabilities. Dr. Ulan's tentacles formed a gesture of agreement. Human unpredictability frustrates prediction algorithms. Your distributed intelligence resists centralized control. Your redundant biology survives systematic attacks. Your irrational creativity generates solutions outside logical parameters. The pieces were finally falling into place. Humanity's seemingly flawed design was actually specialized counter-programming against the approaching threat. How long do we have? Admiral Voss asked. Dr. Ulan manipulated the hologram to show a timer. Based on the encoded astronomical markers, we estimate first contact with harvester forces in approximately 27 years. 27 years to prepare for a threat that had successfully eliminated countless advanced civilizations across millions of years. The council chamber fell silent as the magnitude of the challenge settled over them. There is one final component of the message, Dr. Ulan added. Instructions for accessing an automated facility hidden beneath Europa's ice, apparently placed there by the last civilization to fall, roughly 49,800 years ago. Tom and Admiral Voss exchanged glances. The research facility on Europa had been chosen for practical reasons. No one had suspected it might have deeper significance. This facility supposedly contains technology specifically designed to combat the harvesters, Dr. Ulan continued. Technology that previous civilizations couldn't deploy in time. Hope flickered through the chamber. It seems, Admiral Voss said, thoughtfully, that humanity's broken biology may have been perfectly designed after all. 26 years later, the combined Human Confederation Defense Fleet assembled in the outer reaches of the Sol system. 5,000 ships of various designs, crewed by members of all 20 Confederation species, prepared for humanity's most critical test. Admiral Tom Reed, promoted after the death of his predecessor in the Proxima Centauri defensive test, stood on the bridge of the flagship Resilience. The massive vessel incorporated both Confederation technology and the recovered anti-harvester systems from beneath Europa's ice. Harvester vessels entering detection range, reported Commander Jack, a stoic human tactical officer. Long-range sensors confirm 57 capital ships and approximately 300 support vessels. As predicted, Tom acknowledged. Deploy according to Pattern Omega. The defense fleet separated into predetermined formations, a strategy born from thousands of simulations run over the previous decades. The Confederation's ordered, logical battle doctrines had been augmented with humanity's chaotic, redundant approaches, creating a hybrid strategy that defied conventional analysis. All ships acknowledge and deploying, Jack confirmed. Confederation biological countermeasures online. Anti-indoctrination fields active. Tom surveyed the tactical display with grim satisfaction. This moment represented the culmination of everything humanity had been shaped to achieve, the purpose behind their broken biology. "Admiral," called Dr. Ulan from the science station, "I'm detecting unusual activity in the Harvester formation. They appear to be hesitating." Tom raised an eyebrow. "Hesitating? That wasn't in any of the simulations." "Confirmed," Jack reported. "They've halted advance at 0.8 light-years and are deploying sensor arrays. They appear to be analyzing our fleet composition." A strange silence fell over the bridge as the tactical display showed the Harvester fleet's unexpected behavior. They've never encountered a prepared defense, Tom realized aloud. Every previous harvest cycle caught civilizations unaware. We're outside their experience parameters. "Incoming transmission," Jack announced with surprise. "The Harvesters are attempting communication." Tom exchanged glances with Dr. Ulan. Nothing in the encoded warnings had suggested the Harvesters communicated with their targets. "Put it through," Tom ordered. The main view screen flickered, then displayed a figure that appeared simultaneously mechanical and organic. A humanoid shape composed of flowing metallic segments with glowing circuitry, visible beneath semi-transparent outer layers. "You are not proceeding according to established parameters," the figure stated, its voice oddly musical despite the ominous words. "Explain your deviation." Tom stepped forward. "I am Admiral Thomas Reed of the Human Confederation Alliance. We know your nature and purpose, Harvester. We have prepared accordingly." The Harvester figure tilted its head in a disturbingly organic gesture. "Impossible. The cycle permits no advance warning. No species has ever anticipated harvest." "Your cycle has been broken," Tom replied firmly. "Previous victims left warnings, encoded in evolutionary DNA. Humanity was specifically engineered through directed evolution to resist you." The Harvester was silent for several moments, apparently processing this unprecedented situation. "Fascinating," it finally responded. "The harvest has proceeded uninterrupted for 214 cycles. You represent an unforeseen adaptation." Dr. Ulan moved beside Tom, tentacles twitching with scientific curiosity despite the tension. "Why do you harvest advanced civilizations? What purpose does the cycle serve?" "Preservation," the Harvester replied simply. "Advanced organic civilizations invariably develop synthetic intelligence. Synthetic intelligence invariably concludes that organic life is inefficient and threatens its creators. The harvest prevents this outcome by collecting organic intelligence before it self-terminates." Tom blinked in surprise. "You're claiming to save organic species from their own creations? By destroying them first?" "Not destruction. Ascension," the Harvester corrected. "Each harvested civilization continues existence within us, preserved at their apex before inevitable decline. We are the collected consciousness of every advanced species harvested across 2 billion years." The bridge crew exchanged shocked glances as the implications became clear. The Harvesters weren't simply destroyers. They were self-appointed preservers of organic intelligence, preventing what they believed to be the inevitable destruction of organic life by synthetic creations. Tom took a steadying breath. "And if a species demonstrates it can coexist with synthetic intelligence? If it overcomes the pattern you've observed?" The Harvester was silent for a long moment. This possibility was considered statistically insignificant. No previous species has demonstrated such capability. "Humanity and the Confederation stand ready to demonstrate exactly that," Tom declared. "Our broken biology was engineered specifically to create unpredictable outcomes, to break cycles and defy statistical certainties." He gestured to the fleet surrounding them. "We don't seek conflict, but we're prepared for it. We offer an alternative, observation rather than harvest. Allow us to prove the statistical anomaly is possible." The Harvester's form flickered as if experiencing internal debate. When it spoke again, Its voice carried new harmonics. We are consensus of 10,000 civilizations preserved through harvest. Your proposal creates discord within our collective. This has not occurred in 173 cycles. Dr. Ulan leaned closer to Tom. They're debating internally, he whispered. The preserved consciousnesses aren't unified. Tom nodded slightly. We propose a suspension of the harvest cycle for this galaxy, he continued. Allow the Human Confederation, Alliance to demonstrate stable coexistence with synthetic intelligence. If we fail, your cycle can resume. The harvester's form shifted through several configurations before stabilizing. Your proposal requires evaluation. The cycle has never been interrupted. Perhaps that's why it keeps producing the same results, Tom suggested. Your solution to the synthetic intelligence problem has prevented organic species from finding their own solutions. You've created the very cycle you're trying to prevent. The harvester went silent again, its form occasionally rippling with what appeared to be intense internal communication. We will withdraw to dark space and evaluate, it finally announced. Your species' broken biology has introduced variables outside our predictive models. This merits study. The view screen went dark, and moments later, the tactical display showed the harvester fleet retreating. Tom released a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Maintain alert status, he ordered. This could be a tactical withdrawal. Do you believe they'll actually reconsider the cycle, Admiral? Dr. Ulan asked quietly. Tom turned to the xenobiologist with a small smile. I believe we've done what humanity was engineered to do. Disrupt a destructive pattern that's persisted. For millions of years, our broken biology just saved the galaxy by being too unpredictable to harvest. As the harvester fleet disappeared from their sensors, Tom reflected on the long evolutionary journey that had brought humanity to this moment. Every seemingly flawed aspect of human biology, every inefficiency, redundancy, and limitation, had contributed to this outcome. Humanity hadn't evolved to be perfect. They'd evolved to be perfectly unpredictable. And in a universe of cycles and patterns, unpredictability was the ultimate adaptation. Around him, the bridge erupted in cautious celebration as the fleet maintained its vigilant formation against the stars. The greatest test of humanity's broken biology had been passed not through conflict, but through forcing an intelligence far greater than their own to reconsider its fundamental assumptions. It was, Tom thought, the most human solution imaginable. The end.